Hello, fellas. And we are at a black screen. There we go. Finally, the camera turns on. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Tuesday at Two Lines. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Looks like lots of stuff going on in the chat. So I'll roll back. Chris Freder, Jeff G, John Tucci, Josh Reed, who happens to be here tonight with John Mark Hall. And we missed Dusty. Dusty wasn't able to make it tonight. Yeah. And yes, Josh and I did grab some coffee at Roast before we came to hit the track. So, yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well. Slot Car Wildman, welcome. Curvy, welcome. Good to see you guys. 132nd Slot Cars, Latvia. So I have Harry, I believe, is your name. Is that right? Did I get that right? Welcome. Glad you're here tonight. Thanks for hanging out. John Tucci. Wonder why that's... There we go. The Fingers is in the house. Slot R. Dave, I did respond. Dave, I just responded to your message. Your schematic looks pretty good. I don't know what's going on with my graphics. They look very, very big. Put them right here. There we go. John Albright is in the house. John Tucci, Chris Freder, who else? But yeah, Dave, I responded to you. Yeah, that the schematic, your schematic, non-schematic, schematic looks pretty good. Guys, I did update the link to the PDF version that our buddy Scott put together of the non-schematic schematic. So if anybody wants it out there, I can actually put the link to it out there. So it's probably a little easier to read than my hand-drawn non-schematic schematic. He schematicized my non-schematic schematic. So, yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Tuesday. We're going to run some laps tonight, do some testing and tuning. Maybe we'll run a couple races. Who knows what we'll get into. But we'll let the chat drive that. Jeff G, Curvy, who else? Who else we got? Chris. I'm just glad you guys are all here tonight. It's good to have you. Burn Dog is in the house. Who else did I see? And lots of chat, pre-show chat going on. This is good stuff. Eric Tucker, welcome. So, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about tonight? I released the video on Saturday talking about classes, and that created a ton of great conversation in the comments. I don't remember who requested that I talk about that, but there still seems to be lots of confusion when it comes to classes, and I just keep telling people that it's because every club is different. It's hard to generalize all these classes because so many clubs do their own thing. They run magnetic and non-magnetic and all kinds of things. So it's all good. Hey, Dusty. Good to have you. Sorry you weren't able to make it here tonight. Yes, I have guests. Got some laps being run on the track behind me. Hey, George. Good evening. Hey, Michael. Welcome. I see Shotgun Dave. Hey, Dave. Good to have you, man. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Hopefully you're doing well. Steve Sweeney. Welcome, Steve. Slot Card League of Champions, TNC. Hey, Tim. Good to have you. Hey, Gary. Man, all the regulars are in tonight. So, I didn't really have a big plan. I figured these guys will be making lots of noise behind me, so I don't know. I should probably put the headphones on and see how that translates. They're not too loud, are they? No, they're good. I don't hear them much. So, Greg's in the house. Daryl is in the house. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys... Hey, Steve. Good to have you, man. Moondoggy. Man, there's a bunch of people. Patriot. Hey, Reese. Good day, man. Hope you're well. Hope things are... hey, Greg. Good to chat, man. It was good to chat earlier. So, yeah, what are we tackling tonight? I don't know if anybody saw Bruce's new video from Cincy Slots. He got a few of the new Slottits in. Probably feels a little late to the game on a few of them. But, man, those are the Momo 962, and then he got the McLaren. Those look really, really good. So when we go down on Thursday, temptation. But I got to focus. I need the Revo slots. Hey, Oscar. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining the chat. Good to have you. Hopefully you're doing well. Staying busy. So for all of you who don't know Oscar has Slot Invasion. Our favorite guides. I've already converted my Scale Auto to a Slot Invasion guide, Oscar. Really keeps that car in a slot. Fantastic. Great on Carrera track. Very happy with it. So Anthony. Hey, Anthony. Anthony says, I have a question. Is it possible to run 12 cars on a 4-lane digital set? Anthony, so, no. You would still be a maximum of 6 cars because you would only be able to get 6 controllers connected to the CU. So you're not running 2 CUs for a 4-lane digital track. You have 1 digital CU, and then you have an extension lane that plugs into that makes the other 2, that brings the other 2 lanes into digital world. So yeah, you would only be able to run 6 cars. Now the oxygen system, you can run, I don't know what the limit is, but the 24-hour Le Mans race over in Europe that Pete does an awesome job covering, it can do, I don't know, 20 or 25 cars, maybe more. I'm not familiar enough with that system. But Carrera, you would only be able to run 6 cars, not 12, with my experience, because it's a limitation of the number of controllers connected to the CU. Let's see, what else? Any other questions out there? I'm happy to tackle any of them. John Albright, Area 51 Raceway, I caught last night on replay and heard my name mentioned. You need a Toyota GT1 in your Revo stable. I think, Josh, do you have a GT1 Toyota Revo? No, do you like that car? Is it good? Yeah, so Jamie has one too, I think. Those are good cars. Yep. Hey, Jamie. There's Jamie. Jamie, you have one of the Toyota GT1s, don't you? Revo slots, if I remember from Bruce's house race last year. Those are good running cars. That car was fast, if I remember right. Let's see. Yeah, no problem, Oscar. If you guys need Slot Invasion guides or lots of other products it carries, check out slotinvasion.com. Great website. I actually probably need to place an order. I've got some things I need to, got some projects ahead of me that I need to build a little bit of inventory for. So, Alexander, hi Marty, how was your Thanksgiving? My Thanksgiving was great. I actually got down here on the track with my nephews and my brother-in-laws, and we had a little bit of racing action going on, which was a lot of fun. I put them in magnet cars first, and that was pure chaos. And then, no problem. And then we went to some no-mag fly cars, and that was a trip. I dropped the track down to about 10 volts, and they were having some fun with no magnet, and we were in analog. And then I put them in a couple of the Thunder slots, and then it got really interesting. They enjoyed that. Hey, grandson. Man, welcome. Hey, Clint, welcome. So thank you. I had a great Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a good time. Got a chance to meet up with family. Greetings from Brazil. How do they do it though? With the oxygen system is just different. I think that it's expandable, and I've not seen how the digital. I mean, I think they use analog controllers with the oxygen system. Maybe I don't know enough about it. I apologize. I'm sure if you went to the Slotted page website, probably. Question: are we having a Christmas party, Steve? Are we having a Christmas party? I'm sure that I will do a live stream. Christmas is on a Sunday this year. Sunday, so I'm sure that we will definitely do a live stream on Tuesdays both weeks. I'm sure there's no reason why we wouldn't. But maybe one of them would have to be a Christmas party, Steve. I think that's a great idea. That's good. Dusty, we always have a party, Steve. There you go. Can I use a Carrera 132nd digital set to add on a 124 Carrera digital set? So the pieces are interchangeable. 132nd, 124. The only difference between a 132nd set and a 124 set is the cars that come with it, the scale of the cars that come with it, and the power supply. So the 124 set power supply is an 18.9 volts. I can't remember the exact. It's about 18 volts. And then the 14.4 volts for 132nd scale. So that's the only difference. Track pieces, everything is the same. So hopefully that answers your question. That helps. Yeah, I remember that car was pretty quick out of the box. But it's not going to qualify for the Revo GT class, I don't believe. The GT1. Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I guess we need to ask Bruce. Okay, so last year it was legal. Okay, so maybe the GT1 is illegal for the GT. Yeah, John Mark, you're good. Yeah, the 911 GT1 is legal. Yeah, he said that the 333 was not going to qualify. So Daryl, did you see the new all-black Revo GT1 they are showing? Daryl, I did not. Who's showing that? All black? Revo Slot? Is it on their webpage? Revo Slot, all black, GT1. I'm looking online on their website. I see the yellow. Oh, I see they do have some new liveries coming out, right? That was probably on their Facebook page, maybe. So yeah, I've not really looked at those, Daryl. I need to check them out because that might be a thought if that qualifies for the GT class. I might be interested in one of those because I really like those cars. They look sharp. If not, the either the Pro Marked or the Olympia CLK is going to be my choice of car. I need to get some tires for the Mario and Yoshi. Is that something you carry, Oscar? Ooh, that's a good question. I know that Bobcat tires, if you're into urethane tires, He's out of Ohio. He created some tires for Mario and Yoshi. I'm guessing that I don't know if Super Tire has silicones yet for those. That's a good question. Don't know if Quick Slicks. Hey, Lindsay. Marty, where will you find the Auto Art Porsche 963? So the Auto Art, I don't have an Auto Art 963. I have the Scale Auto 963, and I purchased that's this one right here. I purchased that. I haven't finished building it yet. I painted the body green. Right now I have the rear wheels off of it. I need to finish that build. That's funny. No. I can put them on. Oh, there you go. There's that, and I believe you need that. And you should be able to put them on without taking the body off. But it's not completely together. I think I'm missing some parts on the inside.
You're missing a wing and an interior.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing setting that car up. But yeah, Lindsay, that car, I bought it through Bud Slot, who's in the chat right now. Greg, he ordered a bunch from Cloverleaf, I think.
And you got yours. We ordered them from Spain.
Well, from Spain. So I think that's how I got involved in that. So that is a great car. But I think they're very hard to get a hold of right now. So, wow, it's very exciting. I'm happy to know it was so great. That's cool. Out of the Mario tires, more coming in a couple weeks. There you go. Oscar will have them. That's great. Pre-ordered the minute I saw it. Okay, I have not seen this car. Have I seen this car?
What car is it?
They said it was an all black, the Toyota GT1. Is this?
Posted. No, not that one. It's a prototype one.
It's the
Black.
matte black.
I saw something posted about it on Facebook.
Oh, okay. So I need to go to Facebook.
I don't remember who posted it. That's the bad part.
John Albright, did you post that in Facebook? I think my brother just sent me a picture of it. Oh, dude, no way. That car is bad. That is awesome. Okay, so let me find it so I can throw it up on the screen. Facebook. I'm probably, it's probably home racing world maybe. Home racing world. Oh wait, home racing world. There we go. Right there it is. 18 hours ago. Okay, so let's go to webpage, guys. Webpage. There you go. There it is. Okay, that car is wild. Man, that looks good. All right, I'm trying to catch up. Yeah, 124 comes with some borders, Dusty. So yes, that's the difference. 132nd sets do not come with borders, but 124 scale sets usually have just the corner borders. Hey, De Leon, welcome. And that's a good looking car, isn't it? I love it. That Revo slot will sell out very fast. Very, very fast. So Anthony wants to know, when you guys raced, did you record it and will you upload it? I didn't record. I saved my family from being on the on the live stream or on the YouTube channel, so I did not record any of that racing. But the guys are racing behind me. Maybe we'll jump on and do a race here towards the end of the live stream. So you guys can see some racing action. Man alive. That's cool. So when the release date is for that? Curvy, correct. 18.4 for 124. Yep. Thanks, Curvy. Appreciate the backup on that. That's what I thought. Moondoggy, maybe it's not for everyone. Let's see. Explode. Real Racer, explode. Jingle slots, jingle all the way. Is 18 volt okay for the 132nd cars? I know a lot of people that run 18 volts. I just don't know how well the motors will hold up over time. I'm running them at 18 volts, and they would be like I couldn't run 18 volts 132nd scale on my track. It's just not big enough. It would just be crazy fast. I run 12 volts with the 4-lane, 14 volts when we were 2-lane, mainly because I had some longer straight stretches that could really handle the speed. So that's the beauty of the variable power supply that I installed. I basically can adjust that to whatever I need to run. So, okay, let's go back to the default. So yeah, that's that Revo slot is sweet. Yes, the Toyotas. Yeah, the black Revo is very cool, Dusty. Hey, Vin. Tried a set of Revo rubber tires, RS202 Super Grips. Pretty nice. That's cool. Yeah, I think the Revo Slot rubber tire is a pretty good tire. We don't run rubber tires because of the club we run silicone, so we run silicone here, so we're not swapping tires all the time. It's an added expense, but it makes life easy. You just have to keep a clean track with silicone. And the guys have been cleaning that track off for the last hour. So, what else do we have? Yeah, not for 132 motors. Yeah, I think 18 volts is just a little too much for 132. We know Raul, he used to run his track at 18 volts all the time, regardless of what the car was, but I feel like it might be a little much. Josh is running too slow. Is that when you were running the... So Josh was, at that time, he was running my my Legends car, which for a Legends car is not bad. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. You need a variable power supply, not too expensive. Yeah, I think $50 on Amazon. I picked up my variable power supply, and it does great. And that one power supply is running the entire 4-lane track without any issues or problems, and plenty of amperage. Even had some pretty hot motors on that. So Greg, yeah, that's a good point. Dave, I haven't forgotten your challenge from last night. Rowan was feeling a bit grizzly today, so we'll try again tomorrow. Is that the controller in hand picture? That's right. Get him started early, Dave. That's great. Yes, variable would be the way to go if I ever get a 124. So my experience with 124, taking out the bulletin board, the billboard. My experience with 124 is we really like racing 124 digital on this track. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of bashing and banging, so it's a little bit chaotic, but it is a lot of fun. And we haven't run it on the 4-lane digital yet, but that's coming. I got to do a little bit of wiring work so that I don't have to tear a track apart each time I want to run digital. So that's what it's got. How's the Carrera project? Did you hand paint on the numbers? Clint, no. I am printing the numbers. So these numbers, it's a white drop shadow on red. So I picked up some glossy sticker Avery labels, and I'm going to print the numbers in it's white paper or white sticker, and I'm going to print the numbers on red, and then I'm going to outline with a light black outline around the white, and then use that as my cut line with an X-Acto knife. And I'm going to use just regular decals, so I can get this finished. And so I've got some painting to do. I got the gas tank and everything in, and so I keep saying that that's my project this past weekend, and I got sidetracked with Christmas decorations. So I spent the weekend decorating a giant Christmas tree that we have in our foyer of this old house. So I've got a 12-foot Christmas tree that takes like 6 hours to decorate, put lights on it. It's a job. So I did not get a chance to do a lot of slot carring over the weekend, but it's coming. So Clint, my plan is to get that Camaro done this week. I have to do some repair work on the chassis as well. I kind of messed it up trying to get it square. I felt like it was tracking a little weird, and so I got to looking at it, and I felt like the rear end was a little off kilter. So I threw the iron to it when I took it apart, and I messed up the rear axle, the bearing. So I'm having to resolder all that back together. So yeah, it's getting there, but it was running pretty good. I just want to make sure that it runs great, and then once I get it done, hopefully next week I send it off to George so he can fix all my mistakes. Thanks for asking about the Camaro project. Let's see here. The car I asked about with the coral snake paint job down the back is the new release, Orica 07. Is that a Scalextrics Cobra? Paint it black. John Mark looks way too relaxed, says Daryl. I must be way behind on the chat. See, guys, I told you I was slowing down on my car purchases. Not a single purchase for Black Friday, at least not in slot cars. There you go, DeLeon. Proud of you. Yeah, thanks, Dusty. I got it. Appreciate that. GT1 limited edition Revo. Yeah, that's a wild-looking, Travis. That's a wild-looking car. Love it. And when you see that car, you hear the song Back in Black. Yes, you do. A little AC/DC. I'm happy to see more guys getting interested in 124. If you have a Carrera track, you enjoy it. The big girls are a blast. Yeah, Greg, I agree. I have two DTM 124 scale cars, and then a Group C. John Mark's got a couple old GT 40s. So, yeah, we're starting to get some 124 cars. What car was it? For not being finished, is it still running all right?
Yeah, I'd take the weight out of the back there.
Well,
but I didn't know if it was too tail happy for you or what.
No, it's not. It came loose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd take that out of the back and put it back where it's supposed to go. But
Yeah,
other than that,
as I say, I don't have a pair of
you're fine.
my pliers.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, so it was up here. There's really not a great place to put weight on that chassis. So that's
Right in that triangle would be about it.
yeah. So yeah, that's why it wasn't stuck down very good. Awful. That car's awful.
It could be fun.
That's the Dave Kennedy SCX. Oh wait,
You're fine.
I had it apart the other day. They're right here. 1, 2, 3, I think.
Yeah.
1, 2. There's 2.
Gotta run the slope first. You can't find the third if it's fine. Well, it's not fine. We'll just go run it. But
There's 2. It's gotta be around here someplace. All right. Nope, that's not it.
already losing screws.
Yeah, got a screw loose. No, more than one. Yeah.
At least two.
At least I'm aware. Oh shoot. Should be right. All right. So where are we at? Let me catch up. I would like to see 6 cars rates on your track. That would be cool. Yeah, this would be, Anthony, you're right. That would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun running 6 digital cars on the 4-lane. And we will do that. I am going to rewire. I need to do a couple of wiring things for the digital to not have to swap out track. Right now, I can run 2-lane digital, but the other 2 lanes or the pit lane is. So I have to swap out the extension of the CU piece, and I need to rewire that. And so that's the job I have ahead of me. So I've got a couple projects. I need to finish my 963. I need to finish my Camaro project, and then I need to rewire my box. So those are all things that have to happen. So, but yes, once I get that done, we will do a 6-car digital race, and I'll record it and then post it. Yeah, Curvy, that RMS motor is a nice addition to 124. And you can run at 14 volts, and it runs the same as it would a regular Carrera 124 at 18. So it's basically a 30K motor. But yeah, it's nice. Dr. Dingus, Dave Kennedy's the real deal. Have you guys ever raced? We have not. We've not had a chance to meet up. Dave and I have talked about that a couple times to try to meet up. We're not that far apart, and so maybe one day we will have a chance to hang out and have some fun. Maybe run some laps. So, but we have not raced. I would like to. Okay, there. I already got that one. I have some Scale Auto. Good evening. Hey, Frankie. Welcome. Let's see here. Hey, Teal Racer. Welcome. John Albright. 12/31/23 projected. Oh, you're in red? All right. So 12/31 projected for all the new Toyota GT1s. There's actually a lot of great liveries. There's actually a Golf livery, I think, in that. So I really think that those will be very popular. Let's see. I don't know if I can find those real quick. Like, the SCX. Let's see, what else do we got? So there's a lot of cars that you can pick up here at the end of the year. We're all going to be slot car poor because of all the pre-orders that are going to ship before the end of the year. I still need to get you that shirt, John. That's funny. Yeah, I think he's sitting there all relaxed, just putting in laps, Daryl. Hey, Michael. Not sure what that's all about. Tim, you run 18 volts, even 132nd. Hey, Gina, welcome. We had a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully you did too. Thanks for joining us in the chat. We appreciate that. How many amps is your supply? Mine is 10 amps. It's I think a 30 volt, maybe it's 20 volt, 10 amps, which gives me basically 2 amps per lane with some leeway. So I think I'm good. We haven't run into power issues at all. Steve, question. How many amps is your power supply? Yep, it's 10 amp. I think it's 10 amp, 30 volt, Steve. Burn Dog question. Marty, you have run 6 cars digital on your track. Do you notice any difference in speed or switch issues? So I've run 4 digital cars on the 4 lane. I've not run 6 mainly because there wasn't 6 people here to run. I should have thrown on some ghost cars. But Burn Dog, I did not have any power issues. I do have power taps. This is only 58 feet, but I've got 3 power taps for all 4 lanes. So power distribution isn't really an issue. And I ran it at 14 volts for the digital. For 4 lanes, 4 cars, no issues at all. No lane changing issues, no pit issues, no nothing. Actually, the cars were probably a little too fast. I had problems getting in the pit because there's a lane changer, and then there's the pit lane changer, and it just comes up a little too fast. And so that's the only issue that we had, but we didn't have any power issues. Hopefully that answers your question, Burn Dog. Gary, Marty, I'm still working on the scratch build, working on the interior. Gary, I'm working on my interior as well. I've been painting up my driver, so that's what I'm painting right now. Charles Jackson, good evening, Marty. Shalom, fellow slot heads. Welcome, Charles. Glad to have you, man. I see a red door and I want it painted black. Anyone pick up the NSR Corvette C7 Jägermeister? Vin, no, but that is a good-looking car. I'm surprised John Mark hasn't picked that up. The Jaeger, the NSR C7. Curvy, Clearwater, since you run 124, I was running the 6 124 cars on my track, and when we started from dead stops, there's a power drain until you get going. Any recommendations? Curvy, so the draw on the 124, I'm trying to remember what the 124 power pack is. I think that it's only I think it might be 10 amps. I haven't run 6 124 cars here. I haven't noticed a drain when they all launch, but I'm not surprised. If you're running the stock power supply. Why so many Revo Toyota GT1 releases? They are aimed at clubs, serious racing. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that they're trying to provide a bunch of liveries, right? I think it would be a great class, just the GT1s. Just because I think the cars look fantastic, and they perform really well. Daryl, what about roast coffee? Well, Josh and I had roast coffee before we came. We met up and grabbed some coffee. So, yeah, thanks. A shout out to Trent at Roast, the channel sponsor. So we'll give away some coffee, send some out this week. So that'll be a good time. So we appreciate it. Thanks to Trent and all he does, mainly just being a good friend. So I appreciate that. Thanks for the shout out, Daryl. I appreciate that. Also, I'm running 12-volt, 30K motors. Yeah, Curvy, those motors are hotter motors. So, and especially if you're, they probably all launch at the same time. You probably do have a pretty good draw right off the bat. Big Jimmy, how are you liking the 4-lane? Big Jimmy, I wasn't sure, to be honest with you, when I first made the changeover, because I immediately missed my 2-lane layout because it was just a great layout. And I kept telling myself, it's okay, you can go back to it. It's all right. You've got the plan. You know exactly how to build it. You can go right back to it whenever you want. And originally, the 4-lane, I wasn't super excited about it. It felt small. It felt choppy. It didn't have the right flow. And then thanks to Frankie, sent me a couple 330 pieces of track that I needed, and I was able to recreate the S turns, and a signature 2 lines layout has to have a little series of S turns. And once we put the wiggles in, man, that really solidified the fact that I loved the 4-lane. And it's a blast. 4 guys, 4 lanes, running laps together. It's super competitive. It's a lot of fun. So yes, I'm not sure that we're going back to the 2-lane anytime soon. And this 4-lane layout is probably what we're going to stick with. I have some other plans to maybe expand it a little bit. And potentially we might do that, but I don't know. I like this. I like the extra space I've got around the table. My wife was making fun of me tonight because I'm starting to get some scenery, and she was making fun of me because she doesn't understand why a 50-something guy wants to build scenery on a slot car track. So that was a funny conversation tonight. But anyway, so yeah, 4 lanes, loving the 4 lanes. It's a lot of fun, especially analog. Now, 4 lanes digital. If Billy and Amanda are here, they'll give me a hard time about it. I wasn't so sure about whether that would be fun digital, but the way that this track is laid out and this kind of modified figure 8 layout, the 4-lane digital really actually will work fairly well, except for the fact that you always have to get to the inside to get to the pit lane. But the outside lane and the inside lane, all of the lanes, the time is pretty close, all within a tenth of a second of each other. And so there's no one fast way around the track, which was what I was afraid of. So I think that digitally, especially 124 scale, it will be a lot of fun, 4-lane digital. Yes. The other BRM VIN that's coming out is they released a Lucky Strike. A Lucky Strike Group C car, and that looks really good too. Momentary break for pit work. I guess I'm way behind on I may need to check my jumpers because I have like 5 of them on about 110 feet of track. Kirby, you that's actually pretty good. About every 30 feet is like what I kind of rule of thumb, and so you're in pretty good shape, I think. Mr. Dingus, question for you, Marty. Who is the GOAT, Lightning McQueen or Strip Weathers? I'm gonna have to say I've got to go with Lightning McQueen on that one, Dr. Dingus. I'm a Lightning McQueen fan, mainly because I love Owen Wilson, and I would do my Owen Wilson impression, but I won't right now. He's got that drawl that's pretty. I think it's pretty easy to imitate badly. So, and that's my imitation would be very bad, but at least you could show off your scar. Let's see. What else do we got? We need more 143rd cars. They have very nice, just smaller than 132nd. So Gina, the SCX makes a 143rd scale car that I think there's a good selection of those, and from what I've heard are really good performing cars. Yeah, I think with you're pretty limited with what Carrera does with 143rd scale. They're really focused on, I think they've got F1 and probably like GT cars. But SCX have some rally cars. They have a pretty good selection too. So between the two, there's a decent selection of 143rd. I think just the popularity of 132nd scale is got it. Vin, wood track, you run 10.5 max. Yeah, on a wood track, I see that. I think that's about what we run at Butch's, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Monty. Hola, amigo. Slot R for my pit entry fix. Shameless plug. Yes, that pit entry fix is great that Slot R did. That video is fantastic. It's what I would like to do. Dusty may have just pre-ordered the Revo. That's funny. Car meetup with Dave and Marty. Yeah, it'd be fun. And Dusty kept you from having to get it. I feel like I'm not getting anything accomplished, guys. Sorry. Slot Journal. Welcome, man. Got one Revo slot Toyota GT1 and a Pro slot version. That will have to do for now. Yeah, I need to make sure that the next Revo slot that I buy will qualify for the GT class at Cincy Slots next month. So that's stomp the car. Kids are crazy. Caveman. Marty, have you tried any 124 RMS motors on your track? Tim, yes, I have. I have it in my Mercedes DTM, and that Mercedes DTM was a dog before. And the RMS motor really woke that car up. So yes, I really do like that motor, and for the price, it's $20. It's a worthy upgrade. The problem is you're gonna have to, to compete, everybody would have to be running that motor. So, and what you have to understand is the 124 scale cars on the Carrera track, they're not supposed to run as fast as the 132nd scale cars. So they're heavy and they just don't handle as well, right? So we've just kind of made the choice to stick with the stock motor because that's what we can run at Cincy Slots. But I did put it in the Mercedes just because I wanted to see how well it ran. And shout out to Jim Cunningham who sent that to me. I appreciate that, man. I'm sure you're not on tonight, but thank you anyway. Let's see, what else do we have? Jägermeister can't stay in the track. It's getting sent back. I'll get them. Roast Guatemala in the vacuum pot this morning. Delicious. Yeah, the Guatemala is a nice for vacuum pot, pour over. That's a great bean for that. He says that it's good espresso too. I just it's a little more finicky for me. I hate wasting beans at all, so I stick with the Brazil in my espresso machine. Let's see who else. Then I totally get scenery. Yeah, I'm starting. It's growing on me, man. I love my magnetic racing lights. Check that out. They're awesome. And I've got another one to build. I got another kit, and so I'm painting that kit. You got it. So I'm painting that kit, trying to get it ready. Let's see here. What else do we have? Chris Feder ordered something from Portugal. Nice. Once you're happy with the track, the desire for scenery often comes naturally. Yeah, Slot Journal, I think that's what I've got space for it now. I think that's the big thing. I've got some areas that doesn't really interfere with racing, because honestly, that's the most important piece for me on this slot car track is not being complicated for marshalling or view. The sight lines are super important for me, and so I think that's where I'm at now. So really happy with this layout. Going to stick out with 4 lanes for a while. I would like to host a couple of race nights with some guys from Cincy Slots to come up, and some other guys here in Ohio that are close. And so I think it would be fun with the 4-lane track, and it gives us a little more space than the 2-lane did. The 2-lane really stretched the table. I was hanging over in multiple places, and it became it's tight down here in the basement. So how can you mention cars without Doc Hudson? That's right. Turn right to go left. That's great. Let's see. Who else? Bill Shears. The fabulous Hudson Hornet can't keep up with the King even in his prime. Are we really arguing? Cars. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. Did you get your Mercedes or Steiner? Yes, he did, Gary, and I'm super jealous of that car. It's a good-looking car, man. I would like to build a car, but I'm just not sure about the plastic. Do you know what kind of car would you like to build? I'm fairly new at the game, and Revo, the fan favorite among the vets. I don't know if they're the fan favorite, but they've just released a lot of really great cars here as of late, and it's one of those, like, it's a more expensive car, but the value that you get in a Revo slot is really there. Like quality chassis, quality components, great running car, pretty easy to tune. Right out of the box, they usually run really well without a lot of work. So I just think that for the price, there's a lot of value in Revo slot. You still can't beat Slot-It. Slot-It cars are fast and quick, very tunable. I'm a big fan of Racer Sideways. Those cars are fantastic. Really enjoy Group 5 races, the class now. So you have a lot of options out there. So to say that the Revo slots are the favorites, I think that's probably maybe right now just because they've released so many great cars and liveries in the last 3 months. And then they've added the Group 2 cars, which are gaining a lot of popularity just because they're small and they're fun to drive. So Revo slots, are they my favorite? They're not my favorite, but they're way up on that list. They're right there with all the others. Those who know me know that my Thunder slot cars are my favorites. I love those cars. What else do we've got? Does Revo make digital cars? Slot Car League of Champions. Revo Slot does not make digital cars, but full-size Revo Slot chassis that were made in the last couple of years have the hole pre-drilled for the Carrera chip. So installing a chip to make a Revo Slot digital, super easy. And most of the chassis already have the hole drilled in the right place for Carrera digital. So there's your answer. They're not digital cars, but they're easily made digital cars. And that's kind of what I want to do. Is I would love to take our Group 2 cars and make them digital and run those digital because they're a little slower. If everybody's running the 9-tooth pinion, they all are very equal. And so things like lane changing and pit could really have an impact on the quality of that race. And so I think that would be a fun digital class, the Revo Slot Group 2s. Yeah, looks like Dusty already got your answer there. Yeah, so Dr. Dingus, if you haven't purchased any cars, I don't know what kind of track you have. So there's so many choices when it comes to cars. My first non-Carrera car. So my first cars were all Carrera because I had a Carrera track. We were doing all digital racing. And I picked up a Slot-It GT40. And then I picked up an NSR, a 908 Porsche. And then the gates broke, and I ended up, buying lots of other cars. But I think that I don't know. It's easy to just go and chase down what everybody's running, the fastest cars. But I think you just find a car that you like, and whether it's a Slot-It or a Revo Slot or Scale Auto or whatever. Just find a car that you love and you've always dreamed about driving. That's what makes the slot car part of it enjoyable. It's just, I would probably never get to drive a Porsche 963, but I get to drive my 963 on the track, and that's just joy for me, right? So find cars that you love. So if you've always had favorite cars, doesn't matter really what the brand is. What was that?
I got a set of wheels up here.
Probably keep those away from Finn.
Yeah. There's a cup here.
Okay. Yeah, great time to be in the hobby. We were spoiled by choice. John Albright just nailed it. There are so many great choices right now. Just go to Home Racing World's Facebook page and just scroll through the pictures of all the cars that are on their way. Like, that's what is impressive. It's just there's so many great cars. Like, before the end of the year, we get 3 new Thunderslot liveries. The Revo just released the C7 Corvette. There's just so many great options out there. And so I would argue that there's never been a better time to be in the hobby. Now, I wasn't born in the 60s, so I wasn't around for those early days and what they call the golden years of slot cars. But I feel like we are in the second golden age of slot cars right now because the hobby is booming. And the reason why we know the hobby is booming is we could probably look at sales numbers and get that. But I can just look at YouTube channels. The number of YouTube channels that have popped up in the last 24 months is incredible. And then the growth we've seen just in my channel and lots of other channels is good stuff. So, Slot Car Legend of Champions, they all need to be chipped for Carrera? If you are running Carrera Digital, you would need to chip cars, yes. That's where the tech slot box comes in, the Omni slot box, or building my non-schematic, schematic digital to analog converter box would come in because it gets expensive putting chips in cars over time if you're trying to chip every car. And so being able to flip a switch and go to analog on your track is a big plus. Did you find the Civic? So Gina wants to know, hopefully that answered your question. Revo is the Minnesota Fats of slots. Caveman, you're right. Revo slots are heavier cars for sure. But I feel like it makes them a little easier to drive. Yes, Eric Tucker is right. The Revo is very easy to chip. You are welcome, Slot Car League. Gina wants to know, any kind, where do you get the body? So you're limited to 1/32 scale model bodies. That's what you're looking for, is like model kit bodies. I tracked down an old snap tight Camaro kit for my scratch build. You have way more choice in the 1/24, 1/25 scale car bodies, but that's where you would start, Gina, is just doing a search for model kits. And then you build a brass chassis for them and mount the body on it and start ripping laps. Jimmy Page, hey, now watch the McQueen slander. He takes both Doc and Weathers at the same time. That's great. I never ran digital. Yeah, you can scratch build digital and analog cars, I'm sure. But scratch building is probably way popular in the analog world. Oh boy! Oh, they got the Volkswagen. John Mark's running his VW Beetle. All right. Well, it'll be good to see what you think. You might want to throw a Thunder slot in there too. NSR. There's so many great choices. It really is. Slotted is a fantastic brand, the first natural step up from pan chassis cars with great selection and plenty of tuning options. Yeah, John, I would agree. I was glad that my first car outside of Carrera was a slotted car because it taught me a lot about time. It taught me a lot about tuning. I posted 2 videos about that GT40. The first one I talked about how I failed in tuning the GT40, and I upset one of, I don't think he was a subscriber, but he told me my content was awful and that I obviously didn't know what I was doing. And I was right. I was admitting that in the video that I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first car that I had to tune. I had no idea how to tune. So I just responded with like, hey, this was my first video about a car that needed tuned, and so funny. But I would agree. A slotted is a great place to start because they're highly tunable, and you need to do some tuning to them. I think most of them are not like perfect right out of the box. So adjusting the front end and just those kind of things are all important on how to make a car go. So, and there are tons of videos out there. No matter what slotted car you pick, you can search how to tune slotted GT40 or how to tune a slotted LMP car, whatever it is. There's videos out there to help you. Curvy depends on your power supply. As it running a full 10 amp, you would need a power supply that has adjustable amperage. I had a sideways Porsche 911 John Player special. My uncle did a real surgery job on trying to chip it. And we can say it hasn't been the same since. So my slotted is butchered up pretty good because I put a chip in it, and running those cars digitally, they're a little more fragile than Carrera and Scalextric's cars. So you have to take that in consideration. Gosh, did I get to the bottom? I did. I caught up. It's 9:02. How did I catch up? Marty, that GT40 was the first video I saw of yours, and I'm still here. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. For some reason, I upset that guy. He thought I was an idiot, and that's okay. He was probably right. If most of you watched that and I didn't scare you off, then kudos to you guys. Just an update. Ordered the shirts. They should be in about 10 days for those of you who ordered shirts. I did order a few extras because I got a little price break, so I added a few to the order so I could get a little price break so that I would have enough money in there to ship everything out to everybody. So I'm excited to get those. So I'll let you know as soon as those are in. I just thought I would add that. I'm sure the guy that mocked your tuning was born knowing how to tune. Some people have nothing else to do. Yeah, Vin, I just took it with a grain of salt, man. You have to have thick skin. So I wasn't too worried about it. So let's take a look at these guys running some laps. What are we running? Oh, Josh. We got a Legends car versus versus my my CUDA build, which is on the t-shirt. So that's cool. John, if 130 scenery is nice and all, but how do we make the sandwiches for the pit crew? That's right. Hey, check Slot R. He's done some great scenery with. He added a grill area to his. Marty, you and I are just George. George, that's funny. Marty, you and I are just pissing everyone off lately. You're right. Just this natural ability that we have. Yeah, Curvy, you have been here since the beginning, and I appreciate you, man. I got you. White. Uh-oh, we got the Legends. Got a Legends race going. Yeah, no, a lot of you guys have been with me since the beginning. I appreciate it. Yeah, 2 amps peak. So that John and I had a lot of conversations about like power when I switched to the 4-lane. I was worried that maybe I didn't have enough power, but I basically have 2 amps per lane with a couple amps left over with my power supply, in case like for launching at the beginning of a race. If there's a lot of draw, it should be able to handle it. So, yeah. If a 132nd car is pulling more than 2 amps, you may have other problems. I would agree. I would say that there's probably a short happening. You're right, John. 2 weeks ago, someone asked about tires on old Strombeckers, and the one I ordered were wrong, so I'm making a set now. Okay, man, that's awesome. Good job. So you're making your own tires? Yeah, I would say that some of those older cars, it might be difficult to find tires to fit. That's where the calipers come in very handy. Get the right size of your wheel so you know what you should be able to order, and you could probably find tires to fit most anything out there, I would say. I do have one car that I've not been able to find tires for. It's an SCX Audi, I think, and just not found the right tire. I found things that are close, but they usually end up rubbing, so I may have to do some doctoring of that if I ever want to put it on. Hey, Scott. Scott, yes, I do have fast laps running. Shout out to Patrick if he's in this chat. Patrick just did a gigantic update this week with all kinds of new things and fixes, and I just downloaded it. I think it downloaded tonight when I restarted the computer for these guys. But they're running Race Coordinator right now because they're running an analog, because I don't have the TrackMate hardware yet. It's coming. So once I have that, then I'll be able to do the testing in analog as well. But testing on the digital side, really like it. Super easy to move people around. If you've ever managed a race where you're moving driver stations and moving people, it's kind of complicated. It's not complicated. It's time consuming, and that app Fast Laps really makes that easy. You just kind of drag and drop the controller to who it needs to be, and go. And so that really is a convenience thing that is amazing. But you know, you don't really have to move controllers in digital. So there are some things that you can make that simpler and easy. But if you're trying to run a round robin style in digital, it's a little harder. So we usually just rerun just a timed race and let it rip. But yes, Fast Laps, great, Scott. I don't know if he responded to you. I know you signed up, but really, really a cool app once Patrick's got it done. At least Marty Ford always pisses them off with a smile on his face. You can always guarantee that, John. Curvy question. How are you guys checking amps per lane? I'm not checking amps per lane. I just know what my total amp draw can be on this power supply, and I'm running 4 lanes, which I'm allocated basically because I've got a 10 amp power supply. That gives me 4 lanes at 2. That's 8 amps, and then 2 extra amps just as overhead. But I'm not actually measuring it at the rails. So it's more of a educated guess, Kirby. Dr. Dingus, silicones or rubber on a wooden track. It's going to really depend on what they've ran. So a lot of times a wood track has run rubber, and they've laid down a ton of rubber, and the last thing you want to do is run silicones on that because it'll pull all that rubber off. So they really want to maintain that rubber that they've laid down. So you want to know what the track, they will tell you what they run. So wood tracks will run rubber tires. They'll run foam tires. They'll run silicones. Our friend Butch, his wood track, they run silicone tires. So yeah, so it's really a preference of the track owner. There you go. $16 Harbor Freight tester. There you go. Yeah, you can just use a tester and find out what the draw is, but it's good. Really, it comes down to the what kind of motor is in the car, those kind of things. Do they make Carrera digital chips for all other brands of slots? So Slot Car League, we were talking about Slot Invasion. If you go to Slot Invasion, they offer different chips on their website that excuse me, that will fit other cars. Now, Carrera chips are just plug and play for Carrera cars. You can retrofit them to work in other cars, but these other chips, the Slot Technic chip, is so much easier to install in a car that's non-Carrera. So that's what I would recommend, is getting the FT Slot Technic chip. There's an MLP chip as well. Those are more of a universal chip. There is a special slotted chip that fits in slotted cars easier that you can pick up. There's a Carson chip that works with Carrera Digital Force Electrics cars. So you have options out there. If you just go out and search digital chips, you'll find recommendations. But for most cars, I have put the Slot Technic chip that I picked up from Slot Invasion, and they've been great. Yep, multimeter. I'm just using the petrified tires for the molds. No measuring necessary and guaranteed fit. Yeah, K-Man, that's good. The petrified tires. Oh, that's great. Let's see here. Are you making your own molds? Okay, that's what Scott wanted to know. Good. Stick two wires together. If you see sparks and smoke, stop. That's right. Unless you like fireworks. That's right. I've been bit by a small capacitor and made my funny bone hurt. It wasn't funny. Let's see. When you clean your track, does the rubber and stuff come up anyways? Well, you'll know some wood tracks, they do not clean them because they don't want to pull that wood rubber up. So, yeah. Yeah, it depends on what you would clean it with, too. If you just, wiped it off with a damp rag, you're probably not pulling all the rubber off if they're laying rubber down. But, for my track, a damp cloth, microfiber towel, I just use it kind of to dust it off. If I deep clean it, it's usually with either rubbing alcohol or a diluted Simple Green, or Windex does a great job with Carrera track as well. Yeah, Vin, I was going to say, I thought you guys ran silicone on your wood track. A capacitor can cause your heart to skip a beat. Not good. Yep. A small capacitor can be 10,000 volts. This is true. Yeah, you're right. Swiffer does a great job, George. So, boys have got the Legends cars out. Hi, Finny. Finn is in the chat. Hi, bud. Good boy. So did we get anything accomplished in this live stream tonight? Got some laps being run. We've answered some questions, I guess. We've just kind of been all over the place. It's easy to test amp draw from any car with a bench supply. For the track, essentially same way, as long as your power supply displays it. Yeah. 277 volts is better than coffee. Yeah. I'll take coffee. Electricity scares me a bit. What else do we have to cover? Oh, you set it up as a ghost car? Yeah, that Kirby, that would help. Greg, you use lint rollers on yours. So Sam's Club, for people who use lint rollers to clean their tires, Sam's Club has like a 4-pack or a 6-pack. Has like a 4 or 6-pack for like $10 right now, $10 or $11. So I meant to grab some when I was in there the other day. Anthony, you're too kind, Anthony. You are too kind. Have you thought about painting the track, Marty? So, Greg, I have painted some of the border. You can see it from where we had the old Rob Snyder Memorial turn. I've painted some of the track border, but not the track itself. I would like to do some testing with paint first, but I don't know. I'm not hungry for more grip, and that would be the reason why I would paint it, not to make it fit into the design or a scenery type of thing. I would be painting it specifically to add grip to the track. So probably not. Case in point, if you put a car on the track and it doesn't want to move, check your amp draw. The chances are you may have a loose screw shorting the rails. Yeah, that happens a lot. I feel like that happens a lot with Carrera cars. When you start trying to add float to some Carrera cars, screws back out pretty easy. And that seems to be a culprit a lot of times. You thought about changing because you run rubber and urethane. I know that Massimo MP slot car, he has painted his track, and he's done a couple different paint methods, and he said that it added some grip. So that's probably a good way to go, Greg, is to test on a corner and see if you pick up some grip and it helps the cars get through the turn a little better. Let's see here. What else do we have? So I think that's a good idea. And I would probably do the same thing. I would probably test a corner just to see if I like it. I did notice that I used acrylic paint, and there's no grip in the acrylic paint. And so when I painted the rumble strips and stuff on, it didn't have any impact on how the car got through the turn, which is what I was after. I didn't want to give that car an advantage on the inside with a little more grip. But Shugu your body screws. That's a good idea. Curvy, we've had the same thing. We lost a body screw into a lane changer, and it shorted it out or blocked the gate. That happened too. Yeah, that's a good one. Shove putty in the screw holes or a small piece of tape. Yeah, I've used tape before, Greg. That's actually a great tip. So that's really good. So yeah. Oh gosh, it's 9:18. We don't have to close this up yet. So guys are having a good time running laps back here. I've got the f-stop up so you guys can actually see what's going on, so that they're more in focus than normal. Shugu still allows you to make adjustments. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, Shugu is a very versatile glue. So use it for a lot of different things. Gluing your motor down. Yeah, George, I have gone to that. You can't see this, but that's what this is. Slot car corner, because it's got that little maybe you can see it. It's got that little collar, and that really helps with float, and they really grip in there and don't usually back out. So that's actually a great thing to use. The show goes on. No, we must accomplish something first. Steve, we'll never accomplish anything. What are you talking about? That's what. Try special float screws for Carrera cars from Slot Invasion. There we go. Problem solved. Oscar to the rescue. Actually, I've used those. Those are great. Good stuff. Good stuff. Area 51, another fine option. Yeah. I agree. That's good. Viningracia. I don't know. I probably messed up your name. I apologize. Do you know Slot Car News? I know Dave just through the channel. But I don't know Dave personally. We've never met face to face, but maybe that'll happen one day. Steve. Yes. I was picking up what you were putting down, Steve. Your sarcasm. I got you, bro. I got you, man. So getting some laps in. How many laps do you have?
I don't know. It stopped counting again.
I'll did it. So I think what's happening is the webcam that I'm using, and it's something's timing out in the software that I'm using to trigger. So you have to use a zone trigger to trigger the little application that runs that counts the lap. And so I don't know. I need to take a look at that because it wasn't doing that. Finn, he's all right. So question, how many of you pre-ordered that Revo slot during this broadcast? I know Dusty did. John did. He said as soon as it came out. Is that so that's a special edition? Ooh, it's got red mirrors on it. Yeah. Bear Carbon GT1. That's, yeah, man, that thing's cool. In HO slots, you can interchange some bodies with different brands of chassis. Are there any brands in the bigger scales you can do that with? Not as much because
You are hopeless.
mainly because each chassis is slightly different to fit the scale of the body. And so you probably run into, you can swap same bodies, different liveries, pretty, that's a no-brainer, right? But I don't know. Some of the chassis are close. Like most of the Thunder Slot chassis are really the exact same thing. But you'll find that some of them, just because of scale, they have different wheelbases. And so sometimes they don't line up perfectly. Sometimes based on the body mounts are in different places. And so that's an issue. So unlike HO cars, 1/32 scale, you won't find that bodies are swappable between chassis. So if I'm wrong about that, let me know. But I think that that's the truth. Jimmy Page, I'm not sure I understand the comment. I apologize. Maybe I missed something in the chat. Explode. Who's the stomper? And I hear there's a video of this. Nothing can be done to make Carrera cars run well. They are stomp worthy. I don't know about that. I've got a couple of Carrera cars. My Porsche 917 is fast. Dusty's the Pink Pig is super fast. Now, again, those are still magnet cars. We're running magnets in those. We run them digitally. Those are great performing cars. John Mark's got a Corvette. His that's your C8R, right? It's fast. It's a really fast car.
I drove a couple analog Carreras. It was the LMP proxy. There were a couple of those in there, and they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah, so I think that
They had different motors, but
yeah, right. So if you add that Piranha motor made for it's an 18K or no, it's a 21.5 motor, I think. That really will wake up a Carrera car. Yeah, for the same reason. Just that will wake that car up. So I don't know that every Carrera car is bad. Now I will tell you the Mustang GTY. Oh my gosh, I can't get that car to run well. Dusty can't get his to run well. My dad picked up one. They look great. We want to like those cars, but I just not been able to get them, especially no magnet. Wow, they just no traction. So anyway, Burn Dog is still waiting for pizza. New to racing slots. Any good websites to buy my first car? So what depends on where you're at. If you're in the United States, there's lots of great places. Depends on what you're wanting to buy. So there's LEB, there's Slot Car Corner, there's Professor Motor, there's Cincy Slots, there's Cloverleaf, there is Slot, 132 Slot Car, there's CarreraSlots.com. There's a ton of great websites out there to purchase cars. If you're in the UK, you've got Pendle Slots, you've got Slot Car Union in France, Evotech in Spain. Yep. Yeah, you can buy directly from SRC. So it really depends on where you're at. That's right, Shotgun Dave. Any slot cars you want to stomp, just send them to me and I'll take care of them, take them off your hands. So yeah, you have lots of options. If you're looking for old cars that are out of stock, Electric Dreams has a ton of stuff. LEB has been releasing some of their like holdouts too. If you're looking for cars that were made, some time ago, if you missed out on something, but be prepared to pay for those. So, no bullying. Carrera cars matter. That's right, Steve. I like it. Pioneer, I think the Mustang and Camaro are interchangeable. Thanks, Daryl. That's good. I think I've not messed with the Pioneers except for that Camaro you sent home with me one day. Yeah, Legends cars, you could swap out the bodies, but they're pretty much all the same model. So that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. John Albright says not true, but you have to put in the do work in most cases. Yeah. The problem is there are some slot cars that are way easier to tune. Carrera cars, they don't have a lot of tuning options. Usually it's all about tires. You can't really set up the front end. You can't unless you've got a tire truer. You can't really lower the front nose. There's just things that you can't do with a Carrera car that you can do with a Slot-It or an NSR or a Thunder Slot or some of these other cars. So it really just depends on what you're running and what you're doing. Like we love the Carrera digital cars when we run digital. That's what we run, and they're fun and fantastic. Gina has the Pink Pig. It ran fantastic even without the magnet. Yeah, I agree. That's a great car, Gina. And the Pink Pig looks great. It's just a great livery. All right. See you, John Mark. Be safe. Yeah, all the Carrera 917Ks are fast. The thing about the Carrera 917Ks is the tires, they get lots of great grip because they have gigantic tires. And that's the advantage that the 917 Carrera cars have over just about all the other Carrera cars, is they just have big meats on the back, true to scale, because that's what, if you look at a 917, a real one, these big fat rear tires, they just had a lot of grip, and that really helps out the 917 on the track. On wood, I can't get them to perform. Well, so Vin, I guess the thing about that is Carrera cars are probably made for Carrera track, right? So they're really designed to have mag effect, run magnets. That's when they're going to be their best. John Albright, Ford GTY, talk to me, Goose. John, we've just never been able to get the GTY to handle. Like it's so tail happy. It gets no grip, no traction. We've thrown weight at it. We've thrown all kinds of things at it. So yeah, we pretty much gave up on that car a long time ago. There you go, Chris. Bring the leftover pizza and bring some slot cars and come over. Dusty and John, they are horrible. Chris, I would agree. Slot cars cost too much money to stomp them. Yeah, Kirby wants to know, do you have secrets to get the GTY to run? I love those cars. Look the same as Marty. Yeah, Kirby, they're a struggle for me. It was a struggle to find tires for them. I don't know that we ever really found tires to fit them. I know that they make them now, but back when we were messing with them, Shotgun Dave, I hear you there. I would take a slot car off their hands too. John has the more cowbell special running, Home Racing World special running decently. Nice. That's cool. At least the 3D Shapeways chassis for them have both Mustang and Camaro both printed on them. That makes sense, Daryl. Thanks. Hey, Mr. Dingus, thanks, man. Appreciate you joining us tonight. We're about to wrap up. It's 9:30. I usually go about 90 minutes. George, I have no idea what that is referring to, but it's the best comment of the night. My Hippie 917 is just about one of the best handling I have. That's okay, man. Those are good looking cars. George, Area 51 has some of the best running 917 Porsches I've ever ran. He sent 4 of them to me. I've since sent them back, but we race those things every week. We had a blast with them. They were the most competitive digital races we ever had. Every car was fast, but he had spent a ton of time tuning them. I have to put that back up there. That is great. Oh, you're talking about the 917 rear tires. That's got to be what that's about. Yeah, go to Home Racing World for videos on them. That's cool. Shotgun Dave using your video to make tires. That's cool, Caveman. Yeah, Dave's got some great videos out there. Yeah, I figured it out, George. That's awesome. The Carrera 917s are awesome until the tires melt on you. Yeah, but I tell you what, Super Tires and Quick Slicks make tires for them. Paul Gage makes tires for them if you're into urethanes. So there's options there. George is always keeping abreast of the latest slot car developments. Nice one, Slot Journal. I like it. I like it a lot. They are too expensive to stomp, but I race with an adult child. That's great. Guys, this has been fun. It's been fantastic. We'll wrap things up for tonight. So this week, I don't know. I think my video, I've got a magnetic racing video I need to release. I've got a couple of other things, ideas, but it might need to be my grown-up Christmas list of slot cars, my 5 things, so that my family will see it and know what to buy me for Christmas. That's the only reason I will be making this video. Not that you guys wouldn't enjoy what my Christmas list is, but this is really for my wife and my family so they know what I want, so they don't buy me a tie, right? So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. I appreciate you, and go have some fun racing.